I know we're not starting until 9 a.m., but good morning. Anybody that's joining me this morning, thank you very much. I know it's going to be kind of a casual Sunday morning, So last chance, grab your cup of Joe, or not last chance, but you can grab your cup of Joe, you know, whatever that you can grab in your hand and kind of have a little snack, kind of sit back and relax a little bit. I am I'm eager. This is my first live on LinkedIn. So I kind of go live on other social media platforms all the time, and we're streaming to Facebook and YouTube and wherever else I can connect this live to. Um, so definitely thanks again for joining us. Um, those of you that are watching, happy Thanksgiving. It's coming up really soon. It is, gosh, I cannot believe that this year has gone by so fast. Yep. Um, as we go along, if you have any questions that you want to ask, or and it could be anything, I'm kind of an open book. I mean, it is Ask New Home Know It All, right? So I didn't say it has to be about new homes, but it could be about anything, right? Good morning. Good morning. We'll start at 9 a.m. on the dot, but I thought I'd kind of chime in and see who's coming on board and I might want to ask some early questions, right? But again, it's real casual Sunday morning, having some coffee. Um, Grab your cup of Joe if you already have one. Cheers to you. I'm on cup number two. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, and we'll begin here in a few. It really is just going to be kind of a casual type of live event, taking some questions. And I do have a really, really good topic coming up. It's probably one of the most important topics for first time home buyers. That's who you are, right? But happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. If you missed this live and oh wow, I want to know more. I want Alex to help me out and see, you know, what what I can do to help them, help you um, with maybe your home search or whatever it is. Kind of, my partner in the office, she said like you're kind of a jack of all trades. I kind of do a lot of stuff, and I guess I'll talk about that too. Yeah, as I was telling her, I'm also a photographer, a drone pilot. Um, my wife's in mortgage, so know a lot about that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, folks. Happy Thanksgiving. It's not Thanksgiving obviously yet, but I like to carry on the holidays as much as I can. Yeah, we're about to start here at the top of the hour, and if you're tuning in, if you have any questions, I am watching all the streaming channels that I'm streaming to, so at YouTube and YouTube and Facebook and everything, right? So we're about to start. I'm going to tell Alexa to stop. Alexa, stop. Had a little bit of Michael Bublé playing this morning. Um, just kind of get me into the mode, right? Happy Thanksgiving for everybody that's tuning in. I am streaming live to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube this morning. Happy Thanksgiving coming up. I am thankful every day. I never really thought that I would be doing what I'm doing today, right? But this is awesome, awesome stuff. If you have any questions and you want them answered, you want me to kind of go over some stuff or talk about something. If there's something that I'm not sure about, because the new home know-it-all phrase is definitely where I know how to go find the resources to get the answers that I need. I get lots of tough questions all the time, right? So thank you very much for joining us. My name is Alex Sung, your new home know-it-all, and if you're connected to me, you're probably watching this live. Happy Thanksgiving coming up. I hope that you and your family enjoy a wonderful holiday. We just decided that I was going to come on and maybe answer some questions from the audience. It is my first live on LinkedIn streaming. So, but I'm connecting the stream over to Facebook and to YouTube as well too. So I'm watching those comments and questions as well too. So if you have any questions and you want to maybe have a conversation, I can even invite you to join the live so we can have a live commentary. Right. So without further ado, I'm also watching Messenger too. If you want to message me or text me, I'm all over multiple screens of kind of being able to watch everything and try to answer all of your questions. Right. So today, I think that people looking for a new home really run into a this most important thing, right? And I Googled this, and I can't take all the credit. I asked my partner yesterday, which I knew this, but sometimes you have to ask somebody in the field, and that's why I'm called a new home owner, because I know what to go ask a colleague to get the right answers, right? So I asked them, hey, what's the number one first-time home buyer question? What is burning when they walk in the door to a new home, or when they walk into a home where they're just going to go walk through it? They made an appointment and want to check it out, right? What's their number one first-time home buyer question? If you know, go ahead. Or if you have a guess, go ahead. Put it in the comments, the chat. I'll read them off. There's I had to ask and be reminded yesterday what that actually is, right? Because I was thinking about so many things about today's webinar or today's live, and wondering what am I going to be talking about as the first time home buyer question, like what's burning, right? The biggest question. Well, so oh, by the way, before I answer that question, if you are you missed a live and you want to find out more, you want me to maybe sit with you for a minute, for a little bit, and have a consultation, talk about what your needs are, what how your search is going, right? Book an appointment. I just dropped this into the comments, the chat, right? So there's a link for you to book an appointment with me so we can have a one-on-one and discuss what's going on with you from a first time home buying, or even you're buying again, right? You're downsizing, you're scaling up, whatever it is. You want to sit and chat, I'm here to help, right? And even if I can't do that particular job like discipline, lots of individuals and resources to be able to help you out, right? So without further ado, that number one first time home buyer question is, did anybody guess it? Anybody guess it? Anybody guess it? I'm just taking a quick peek. Number one first time home buyer question is, what can I afford? What can I afford? What's my payment? What's my monthly payment? Those of us that have cash to buy homes aren't asking this question, but they're generally not first time home buyer, right? I guess they did have a first time home, but for individuals like you and I, your average Joe, right? The question is, even though we're out there looking at supersized master en suites and extra large lots for a future pool and all this jazz, like curb appeal, like I want a double door entrance or whatever it is. I want that 2-story family room look. I hear it all from customers that walk in the door, and that is the fun part. It's the wonderful fun part. I love that part of it. I walk a lot of new homes, resale homes with my colleagues. I rehab homes. But this is the number one question. What can I afford? Right? So I'm not here to answer that question today, but I thought this is a really big topic, right? And here's why. Because we tend, as human beings, tend to gravitate to what is easy, what feels good. So let's go shopping really quick, right? But meanwhile, not really sure the nuances of how a mortgage works. because you gotta pay for that home, right? And you got to qualify for that home first. You got to qualify for that home first. So that that's where I think first-time home buyers have a little bit of like rubbing. So when I say rubbing, I mean like it's a little abrasive. Like I don't know if I want to do that. Check my credit, talk to somebody about my finances and all that stuff, right? Yeah, I get it. I get it. Even when you've purchased a home before, the second time around, the third time around, it still feels kind of like I'm gonna tell everybody all my little secrets about my finances and stuff like that, right? So, and meanwhile, you hold this close to your heart all the time. But the only way an institution is going to lend you money to purchase a new home, you have to do an application. And then that's how you find out, okay, this wonderful, beautiful home that you just saw at whatever price it is, that's what the monthly payment's going to look like, right? That's the only way you're going to know, right? Unless you're already in the business, but then you're generally not a first-time home buyer. You kind of know what's going on, right? For those of us that are just tuning in, do me a favor. We're talking about what can I afford? That's the number one question on first-time home buyers, right? What can I afford? And if anybody has any other questions on any other topics, go ahead and drop a question in the comment section. Definitely do hit that like button, share button. Do me a favor. This is my first live on LinkedIn, and I'm loving it so far. There's a lot of prep to do this, getting on live and maybe answering some questions live. Sorry, I'm going to grab some more cup of Joe coffee. Number 2. It might not be my last one today. We'll see. It's going to be a long day. It's Sunday. For those of you that don't know, in real estate realm, this is not a day that we're generally off, right? It's a lot of stuff that happens today. But anyways, so I put a link in the chat in case you miss some of this live or you can't stick around and you want to talk to someone about it. I mean, it's not invasive. I'm not here to try to sell you on anything. I really thought that this was something that people want to hear more about questions what real consumers are asking, right? Without the whole sales pitch thing, right? I try to tell customers all the time. So if nobody knows, if you don't know, I work in a new home model or welcome home center, and customers walk in and it's unfortunate. They'll have gone through so many different visits with different real estate professionals, and I call them professionals loosely. And they did not take them down the road of conversation of what can I afford? What can I afford? Right? It's crazy. Even though that is the number one thing that's looming, even though they didn't ask the question, it's the number one thing looming in their head. What can I afford? Can I afford this? From a monthly payment standpoint, right? And me, I'm just not shy. Those of you that know me, my customers that know me, I'm not shy. I jump right to it, and like, hey, great, we found a beautiful home that you love, but where are we at, right? How can I help you get into this home? And that's where this question is sitting there. It's always sitting there. It's the first question that's sitting in their head before they even walk in the door for a home that's for sale. So I put a link in the chat in the comments that so that you can book an appointment with me if you want to know a little bit more about it and just sit and chat. I have that all the time. People message me asking random questions. I just trying to keep up with the messenger to answer just questions randomly about stuff. I will tell you what I think, even if you purchased a home or you're doing business with somebody else. I will tell you what I think. And again, so this is in no way necessarily advice. Definitely do your own research, but if you want me to help you, schedule a one-on-one. So back to it. What can I afford, right? So how do you find this out before finding the home, right? before finding a home. Well, technically, you yourself, as the consumer, the end purchaser, already have half the information. I know what my monthly budget is. I know what my max is right here. You already know. If you're paying any kind of rent or paying some sort of mortgage, you already know what you can afford truly, right? The other part is the mortgage company, whoever's lending the money, they're going to figure out how to get to that number for you, right? I mean, there's a lot of nuances to it, and I think that is like also the number one mistake first-time home buyers will not will do as well too. Not seek a financial consultant on this. When I say financial consultant, someone that does mortgages, right? To talk about it, because it really is non-invasive until you actually sign a contract and purchase a home, and then you're starting a loan, right? And even then, you're able to shop around. I mean, so it doesn't hurt if you're shopping for a home. Why would you not? I mean, I don't understand it. I got the backdrop, and it's all kind of dark back there, and I have a black shirt, so it's kind of like I have a floating head. So so if that's happening, I didn't intend on that. I'm working on. If some of you that are really close to me know, I just moved into a new home, and I put the foam sound collectors thing. I forget what they call it. Oh my gosh. So that I don't have a lot of reverberation, so to say, right? So if it's coming over kind of weird, let me know. I'll be changing this up. And I also haven't decided whether this show, yes, I intend on continuing this on at least a weekly basis. But I'm thinking that I don't know if Sunday morning is the best time for everybody, or for customers or professionals, stuff like that. Oh, by the way, so stay on the same subject. I don't know if Sunday mornings are going to be my set date, but I will let everybody know. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you, Tony. Yeah, I think so too. I think weekly at least, right? Maybe with some guests popped in there and things like that, right? Now, as for my professionals, if you have some questions as well too, I am glad to help or have a conversation. Maybe even some guest spots as well too. Because I wouldn't say that, and as I name myself the expert about new homes. No, not an expert at all. I am learning every day from my wonderful colleagues. Thank you for commenting, Tony Ayala. He is another wonderful professional I have had a great opportunity to meet. I have a great opportunity to have a shared experience and conversation with as well too. So maybe we'll have Tony on here someday. Anyways, back to it. What can I afford? All right. So again, I didn't say that I was going to be running anybody's credit or doing more. I'm not a licensed loan officer. You want to seek one, and you know what? You got to tell you, references are great. People that have had a great experience with a loan officer, someone that really held their hand and took them through the whole distance. Because I tell you, a mortgage and purchasing a home, it is a journey. This is my phrase I tell all my customers. Buying a home is a journey. So there's so many things too. It's not just the construction of the home, fixing up the home, inspections. It's your mortgage. It's a journey. And you want to take any journey, just like climbing mountains or going anywhere on an excursion. You want to make sure you're going on this journey with someone that's professional and is going to, you can trust. You got to be able to trust them, right? So I don't want to harp on that too much, right? But definitely find somebody that you think, if you don't know anybody, can help you. Not a problem. Yeah. But normally you and your family probably know somebody that you can already trust. Yeah. So what can I afford? When customers start looking at, what can I afford? They immediately go on to the quick thing today. Today is, I don't understand it. They go online and they fill out an application or they fill out some sort of form, right? And it's almost random. When I ask questions to customers, it's almost random. And then they see something and they're like, oh, I can afford that. Boom, let's go buy a home. I got to tell you, that is probably just as bad as not knowing stuff, right, about your buying power, right? You definitely want to have a longer conversation with your loan professional. Why? Because these automated pre-approvals are just that. You know, they don't know the specifics about you and how you're going to feel about what's going on with closing on that home, because there's lots of little nuances as well too, right? So so okay, so I said right, and like, I don't know if you know. If you don't know, there's fees, there's documentation, there's underwriting. Oh goodness, yes, the word underwriting. If you don't know it, you're going to get to know it as you get into a new home. Underwriters, they're the risk people that look at your loan and say, okay, we're going to lend them some money to buy this $400,000 home. Okay, and then they're going to look at it again. Yes, they're going to look at it again before they loan you the home, just to make sure it all looks great, right? But that has kind of taken you out of the equation. That's them wanting to make sure they risk management. So when you look at doing an application, you want to talk to your loan officer and ask for a worksheet that tells you what your cash to close is and what your monthly principal, interest, taxes, and insurance looks like. Pity. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance looks like, right? There's a little more to that. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more, right? So ask about this. Make a note. If you missed this, don't worry. There's a link in the comments in the chat. Book an appointment with me. I'll remind you of what you got to do to ask about, right? Why is this important? So for the next few months or next 30 days, how much money you got to come up with. Is it doable, right? You might be changing your budget. You might have thought to yourself, okay, well, I thought $2,500 a month was my monthly budget, but with all this stuff added in, maybe it's more, maybe it's less. I don't know, right? I don't know. And I just use that as a hypothetical, right? And the only way to notice is to ask for that worksheet, fee sheet. There's lots of ways to call this, right? A good faith estimate. But believe me, your loan professional will know exactly what you're talking about. And so, what do you get? What do you do when you get the sheet? You take a look at these multiple line items. You're going to see lots of fees. Well, you want to talk in depth with them about it. You want to ask a little bit more so you're going to get educated about it, basically, right? Ask questions. Hey, they're likely going to schedule an appointment with you. The ones that are really great are going to schedule an appointment with you and say, hey, let's go over this, right? How does this look to you, right? But even if they don't, I would say, this is your loan. This is your home. You're trying to purchase it. You have every bit of the same responsibility to be inquisitive and make sure you're familiar with what's going on with your finances. Yes, I know. You gotta do the work as well too. I know they do the work, but it's your money, it's your loan. So ask those hard questions, right? And if you don't know what to ask, no worries, no worries. You have professionals along the way. So now that's what I was going to talk about. That other professionals, right? So I'm going to stop harping on the loan so much. Definitely get that down, right? Do that. Start talking to a loan professional to help you. Okay. If you don't know somebody, schedule an appointment with me. I'll get you hooked up with somebody depending on what's going on, right? Professionals. So if you are just kind of out there shopping, I mean, if you don't know anything about cars, I mean, I go and call my car guy, right? I got a car. Everybody's got a car guy, right? I call my car guy when I go shopping for a car. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm looking at this Chevy Camaro SS, whatever it is. What do I know? I know about this. I don't know about cars. So I call the guy about cars, right? So he can give me the rundown of what I'm looking for and things like that. So same thing with homes. You should seek a professional if you're not familiar. I mean, I know the internet's great information, but I will tell you, I follow so many different types of media online as a professional, but I also follow the gurus that just go there and they're looking for sound bites. They're looking for that click or that like from doing shock video, like the sky is falling stuff, right? Be careful of not having a professional that's working on real numbers and is in the market and just listening to your online gurus. Not the right way to go. I'm telling you. And I challenge any guru to challenge me on that. They sometimes they just kind of come on just so they can hear, or get some likes. So definitely seek a professional to help you. They're going to help you with asking the right questions and explain to you why we're asking those questions. Also, kind of maybe interview you as well too. Maybe help you with understanding some things about what you want and what is affordable, what's going on in the market today. That's going to help enlighten you, so to say, right? So just going to check really quick, take a little break and check really quick and see, if anybody has any questions, right? Again, I'm streaming live to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I am coming straight from LinkedIn, though, I will say. It's my first live in LinkedIn, and I am loving it so far, right? Thanks very much for listening so far. If anybody has a question, this is Ask New Home Know-It-All, not New Home Know-It-All, just talking. So if you have a question about, your home search, even if you're working with a professional already, it's what I'm here to do. Help answer questions. I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you what I think. Maybe it may be something you like, and maybe not something that you like, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I get that from customers all the time. Like, Alex, you're kind of bold and honest telling me about, this, how I feel about it. I'm like, I don't beat around the bush when it comes to that kind of stuff. You're purchasing a new home. This is not a tiny decision. It's not a can of beans. You can change it up next week and buy a different can of beans. It's a major purchase in someone's life. And what I want individuals that have an encounter with me to say that, what, he was helpful, or at least he gave me some great advice, or, what, I didn't like what he had to say, but at least he said it. Right. So that's the great part as well, too. If you're unable to, like maybe watch the entire live or get some questions answered here, or you're on a run, you're on the road, stuff like that, there's a link in the chat. Go ahead and book an appointment with me and we can talk about your new home search. Yeah. So I'm also checking Messenger as well, too. So my topic that I thought that, okay, well, let's bring this up, right? So the topic was, let's talk about, what is the number one first-time home buyer question. And, I asked my partner to remind me what it was yesterday, because, we get a lot of questions as professionals, right? But it's so true. This is definitely the question. I think this is not just for first-time home buyers. I think it's for all home buyers, right? Because even if you're upgrading, you're downsizing, you're getting into a new home and searching for it, and you're like, what's the affordability on this home, right? So yes, the answer is, can I afford this home? What's the payment on the home, right? What's it look like? How's it going to fit into what I want to do? People are downsizing, wanting to, work from a capped income budget and want to scale back, right? Because they're retiring soon or things like that. There's lots of, but that number is on their mind. And us as professionals, we should be doing this. So if you encounter a professional that's not helping you on this journey, and sometimes they're going to try to prod you to do this, even though you don't want to. I talked about this earlier. That fear of letting everybody see your finances, not everybody, letting your loan officer seeing your finances and stuff like that. But we're talking about mortgage now, right? You kind of have to get rid of that, because that's what you need to do to be able to get your best, right? Your best, rate, price, and your invest monthly payment. I would be amiss by not talking about this today because we're on a live, right? And I was talking about gurus and people that are out there just for sound bites and stuff like that, without talking about inflation and interest rates and the crazy prices of homes today, right? I will be amiss without talking about them. So if anybody has a question about that, wants to discuss something, or anything, wants to mention something, please go ahead, drop it in the comments. So I'd be amiss about talking about all of this, right? So lots of the gurus are coming on, and they love to tell you that they're waiting for the bottom to drop and keep on going, right? Their crash is coming and all this kind of stuff, And so this is an opinion, okay? This is my opinion as well too. But I'm out there every day, sometimes twice the same day. I think there's 48 hours sometimes in a day. I fill my day with so much stuff. So let's just create a snapshot first, right? Demand has not changed. If you're watching this, or you're thinking about it for a home in the next year, 2 years, or you just bought a home, or you're shopping for a home now, you're in this pool. Demand has not changed. So meaning demand is incredibly high. Sorry, I don't have the wonderful charts that these wonderful gurus love to kind of publish and create and push out there just to kind of talk so that they can corroborate their narrative. But demand hasn't changed. I know, I see it every day, right? Yesterday, I had some customers come in from another city. They're moving around a really far, expensive real estate city. So I won't mention it, just to kind of give away stuff. But they came and bought a home in cash, same day, no arguments. But this is happening a lot. They're closing Tuesday. They're probably going to buy more homes, right? So demand is high, still there, hasn't changed. It is in the down part of the season. And those of us that are not in this kind of profession, let me help you. During this end of year, it kind of tapers off. It's a little bit light year over year, a little bit light. People, have lots of things going on, Thanksgiving traveling, holiday traveling, and they're back at work. A school has started. It's definitely right in the middle of the fall, winter season. Everybody's back at work. But this year, wow, demand is there. I mean, you still see that curve, but demand is still high. Okay, so that hasn't changed. All right, so let's go into part of the inflation part, right? Yeah. Cost of goods, services, everything. There is almost not one thing that I spend on a daily basis. Milk, coffee, TP. I mean, anything, picture frames, mouses, anything that I need. Electricity, oh my gosh, water, everything has gone up, right? Everybody's heard the stories, lumber, construction materials, right? The cargo ships that are out in the bay, the ocean, waiting to come in. So supply and services they're going to take a long time to catch up. A long time. We're not talking tomorrow. It's not possible, right? I mean, it's just normal logistics. You can't change that. So demand is high. Supply is, from a construction standpoint, low, and it's not going to speed up anytime soon because we have challenges with supply and servicing, right? So the resale market, we're talking about forbearance and people coming back on the market because of foreclosures and things of that nature. I don't know any time where people went into foreclosure all at once. Everybody that was in financial trouble, they all decided, okay, November 15th, tomorrow, we're all going to go foreclosure. No, it doesn't happen, right? So foreclosure is still happening. It's been happening, but it's getting eaten up really quick by the demand. It's not as fast as the demand. So that's not something that's going to be oh my gosh, a big wave into the market and cause the market to dive in price. Not a chance, right? So you got inflation, cost of goods that are changing, right? We all notice. You can see it. I don't need a chart to tell you this. You just need to go shopping for anything, right? Supply is down, right? Demand is high, supply is down, right? Construction can't keep up. Resale, there's no foreclosure wave coming. Hello, right? There's much more demand, and we are in amazing short supply. What? Some cities we're in 1 month, 1 month, 2 months worth of supply, where the average year over year for decades have been 6 months of supply. You know how long it's going to take to catch that up? Yeah, yeah. And then, for your consumers, you need to understand shadow inflation. I heard this on another YouTube guru, and he's a great guy, Stefan. So it's a little plug there. Now, learns from shadow inflation. Well, it's where the cost of something doesn't go up necessarily, right? But the quality, or maybe the materials that are used, or the amount of actual product that you purchase isn't the same. It's lower. So therefore, you're actually paying more, but you're getting less. So there's a lot of that going on. Watch your products and you'll know, right? So, because you may ask yourself, like, what inflation? I'm not seeing anything different. Well, it's happening. It's happening in more places than you think, right? So all of these things combined really tells me, and I think everybody in the business of real estate, in construction world, that we are not going to see a change in home prices or demand anytime soon. However, the rising of interest rates, yes, that is a interesting factor, right? But and this is something that's just really a matter of your own interpretation. And I would say anybody that's in the market for shopping for a home should stay tuned to how the Fed handles interest rates, right? And what they're predicting that they're going to raise interest rates, and how the mortgage companies watch their rates, right? Because that can affect your buying power day to day. Day to day. That's why there's always been that phrase of locking in my rate. So if you're not, you're thinking about like, oh, I'll just wait to see if it goes down, or things of that nature, prices go down. You may be shooting yourself in the foot. I tell customers right now, there's nothing better than knowing what you're buying today. Seeing a home that's done today or completed today and getting your rate locked in when you know what it is today, and you're satisfied with what it is, you're willing to say, okay, I'm okay no matter what happens with this rate. But again, it's my opinion. Talk to your real estate professional, talk to your loan officer professional. If you're working with a builder, talk to them as well too about what you're planning, right? If you need somebody to just kind of talk to about it, I'm here. Again, I put my link for Calendly in the comments, and we can just have a few minutes, chat about what's going on. Rarely do I come up with a situation that's brand new, but then again, I always have a multitude of pros that have been in this business decades, that have seen it all, that I can just kind of lean on and say, hey, what do you think about this situation? Yeah. Anyways, we're approaching 40 minutes on the live, and I really, really appreciate everybody tuning in. Do me a favor, press the like button, share button, comment, and I will see you guys in a week, for sure. And I'll set my new broadcast really soon. Thanks again for tuning in. If you missed anything and you want to discuss something, do me a favor, book an appointment. I'm glad to help. I'm really easy to find: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, pretty much all the messaging channels. DM me. Thanks again for tuning in. My name is Alex Sung, your new home know-it-all, and this was Ask New Home Know-it-all.